Hello, everyone. You're watching The Guest on Gabon 24. Many people like to say that in Gabon, and especially at the Omabongo University, in particular, researchers do research, but often find nothing. In the majority of cases, they remain in the scientific theories, and their research seems not to meet the needs felt by the African populations at the time. For example, literature now seems to correspond to the slogan art for art and not art to solve everyday problems, knowing that literature is the mirror of a society. In this session of the day, we'll talk about the African literature and particularly the book La Folie des Discours Identitaires. Our guest of the day is Dr. Ygor Juste Ndong, who is a lecturer, researcher at the Omabongo University and an author as well. Sir, Doctor, welcome to the guest.
It's an honor for me to be here. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for accepting our invitation one more time. Please, maybe you can introduce yourself to the viewers.
Okay, as you said, I'm Ygor Ndong. I'm a lecturer at Omabongo University. I've been teaching for like 10 years, and I really like literature. And it's a honor for me to be here and a pleasure because, you know, it's scarce for us to talk about literature. While literature is very deep, it comes from the heart. So it comes from what is even hidden within ourselves. So, you know, I think it's important for us to talk about that.
Wonderful. So, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know whether you, you feel the way I feel now. As long as we're talking about literature and the way you describe it, you know, thank you very much one more time for accepting our invitation. So now maybe why not, directly talk about your book, which is La Folie des Discours Identitaires. Can you briefly present it?
Okay, La Folie des Discours Identitaires is comes from my dissertation, because when I got my PhD, I decided whether it was possible for me to publish part of it. So it was accepted and published in L'Harmattan. Okay. L'Harmattan is the publisher. And it's mostly about madness. Madness is really, I found the topic really interesting because it remains like something like it's a mystery because, and although many writers have tackled the issue of madness, it remains something that remains still unfathomable. So the madman who remains the man that is like the intermediary between the word of God, the spirits, and the living. Okay. So it's the madman is the one who make people discover things that are hidden.
Oh, that's wonderful. The madman is the one who makes people. If you allow me, that's kind of a little bit tricky. Yeah. When you say the madman is the one who makes people discover things which are hidden, is it like, I was thinking when you talk about madmen, you're talking about those mad people that we can find on the street. Are we talking about the same madmen, or is it different?
Yeah, the problem is that in nowadays societies, we no longer consider mad people as we used to do in the past. Because now we don't have enough, we don't have a frame for those people, because actually in the past, in our traditional societies, those people were sent to a group of people, a group of people who had the knowledge of the invisible world. Okay? And those people became, when they integrated those groups, they became useful for the society. Okay. Those people can be useful for our societies.
Pretty good.
That's what our society used to be, used to consider those people.
Oh, so and definitely they are not, if you allow me, they are not that much, sick people as long as they are still useful.
They see what you and I cannot see, and this is what is interesting.
I'm telling you.
You know,
That's wonderful. What
yeah.
a wonderful way of let's say seeing things. And definitely, when you talk about when you raise the concept of identity discourse, please, what do you refer to?
Okay, the discourse of identity is, let's say that it starts around the 60s and 70s when many writers like Achebe, that you know,
Yeah.
Ngugi wa Thiong'o, Ygor started advocating for their identity, for their culture, because colonization, the aim of colonization was to completely erase what made the foundation of our being as Africans. And so they started claiming for the, let's say, the sharing of the wealth of their identity. And with this, dealing with identity in the colonial discourse and introducing mad people was, for them, they used that madness, okay, as the, let's say, a sort of, how can I put it?
Vehicle?
No, they wanted to show that sometimes, as you said, what we considered as mad may not be mad,
Sure.
actually.
Okay.
And that's this mixture of madness and identity within those books, made them great books.
Sure.
That's why we had great authors like Achebe, Ygor, Ngugi wa Thiong'o.
That's wonderful. Is there any aspect in your book which definitely can help us? As you know, there is that problematics of, let's say, identity. The Gabonese, if you allow me to say so, real identity, and that almost everlasting, let's say, comparison between far and beloved, as we used to call them in Gabon. How can your book help better understand or tackle that problematic of identity discourse here in Gabon?
In my book, because this is dealing with post-colonial literature, that is dealing with identity, we claim for the identity to express itself, because it's our culture, our identities are really wealthy, okay? And this is the wealth of our nation.
Sure.
We have to be proud to be Fan, to be Punu. Okay. We need people that are able to speak their mother tongues, because you see nowadays most of us no longer speak our mother tongue, which is a shame.
Sure.
And we need to come back to that, because those, even within the languages, we find very wonderful images. We find proverbs. We found riddles that can be used in literature. So it means here literature did not start when colonization starts in Africa, but it has ever existed in our culture.
Sure.
Literature has ever existed in our culture. Yeah, and we find it in, we have started, Europe has discovered it from the books of Chinua Achebe, that, Things Fall Apart.
Yeah, sure.
Arrow of God, and many other books like that.
That's pretty important. So let me quote you, if you allow me, in the introduction, and I'm going to read, in the introduction of the first part of the book, which is Colonialism, Neo-Colonialism, and Madness, you state this, and I quote you: the normal and the insane change in the meaning of causes and their manifestations, depending on whether one takes into account one or the other of the discourses of indigenous people and settlers. Please, can you tell us a little bit more about that part of?
Okay, yeah, this is, as I said, due to the coming of the Western civilization. When they came to civilize mostly what they call the white man's burden, the idea of coming and completely changing the mind of Africans, because they were considered as primitive people, backward people. So here you have to see madness. Madness can also be considered as an image because they were considered as backward. Sometimes even in scientific writing, they said that Africans mental, let's say, mind was like that of a white child.
My God.
So here you see, I mean, you see the parallel they made, and so the Africans was the madman, and the civilized was the one that had to come and, let's say, cure the minds of Africans.
My God.
And in the books of African writers of the 60s and 70s, they came and said, oh, you're wrong. Okay. You are the one that is
definitely
mad. Because with civilization, actually, to change Africans, they had to use violence. Yeah, sure. Because their culture, their identity was part of themselves. And if they wanted them to change, they had to use violence.
My God.
Okay. Right. And so in those books, I try to show, this, how each other throw the stone. Okay, they throw stone at each other. Yeah, sure. And you are the man, and then, you are the man. And this is actually what happened.
I'm sorry, unfortunately, what an interesting topic and what an interesting book it is. But we've come almost to the end of this TV program. And I have a last question, if you allow me. And that will be definitely, what's the link? Because you said also that war is as a source of neurosis, okay, and guilt. So definitely, what is the connection, please, between war, guilt, and madness?
Okay.
And that's going to be the last question, please. Unfortunately.
This is so interesting. In some of the books of Africa, like in the books in Kenya, where there were freedom fighters for the country to gain independence, those people celebrated veterans. Okay. Like they were considered as saints, like as heroes of their countries, because they had fought for the country, they were sent to prison, and they came back. But the novel shows that sometimes those people behave strangely. And I've called this neurosis because behind there's a guilt that was not expressed. Those people actually betrayed the national cause. They betrayed. But this was not discovered at the beginning. Sure. Through the reading of the novel, we discovered till the end that actually many of those people that were considered as saints actually betrayed let's say, the fight for independence.
And I apologize. Sorry. I wish we could have been longer. And I consider maybe a very short last word.
Yeah. Okay, I'm really happy to be here and talk about literature. Okay. I hope that you continue having lecturers come and talk about such things, because we need our students to read, because we now in a society where people have stopped reading. Sure. They're no longer interested in it, and so I encourage you to continue.
Thank you very much for accepting our invitation. I recall that you are Dr. Ygor Juste Ndong, lecturer at Omabongo University and writer. Today's program was related to the African literature and the book La Folie de Discours, which you are the author.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, keep watching Gabo 24 Live on our social networks now, displaying on the bottom of your screen now. We hope to see you next time. Thank you. Goodbye.